welcome to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Today's video is going to be a just end of 2020 video. It's going to be a bit of a good, the bad, the ugly of all the watches that I have reviewed since the channel started. I started the channel back in November 2019, so we can cover a couple of the watches from there, and then predominantly of course 2020. So by my list so far, I've got about 50 odd watches that I have reviewed on the channel. Mostly about, I'd say, I don't know, a good 85% they are going to be in the good. Then in the bad, there's a handful in the bad category, and only a couple in the ugly. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. Remember to leave a comment in the video in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you like what you see, and also remember to check the description. I'll see what I can link in there in terms of AliExpress affiliate links. All right, so let's get to the video. I'm gonna start off from the first ever video I did. That's the order I've done them in, and I'll mention any reasons why I've chosen the watches. Now remember, before I go any further as well, that this is purely subjective. It's not objective. Purely my opinion, my personal preference, and why I think they're good, bad, or ugly. Of course, if you've got the watches that I'm calling ugly or bad, please don't feel bad about that or offended. As I mentioned, it's my opinion, and opinions are like, you know, everyone's got one. So let's start off. Let's start off with the good ones. So first on the good, SD1970, the 6105 Homage by Steeldive. Now this goes out to also the bronze variant. Exceptional watch. It's been a very popular watch. It's a very popular watch on the channel as well, and a lot of people have got wind of it since I made that video, and now people are still reviewing them. So cracking watch. It's got the vintage looks, and of course it's homaging one of the most, I'll say, iconic Seikos. You know, it was featured in the Apocalypse Now movie, so that's a good one. Next, Heimdallr 62 Mass. Yeah, exceptional watch, great looks, amazing value for money as well, especially the time it came out as well. Next one down the list, we've got the Proxima Marine Master 300 Homage, including the gilt variant as well. So fantastic piece, definitely a good watch. I'd say it's probably one of the best watches I have come out of AliExpress. Further on down, Pagani the Daytona Homage PD1644. It's got the VK64 Seiko mechanical quartz movement. Great specs, great looks, great overall build quality. A definite good looking watch. Then we've got the Pagani PD1639, which is the Submariner Homage, the first one that came out with a 43mm case. I was a bit iffy about this. I wanted to put it in the bad. The bezel action is really poor on it. The bracelet could be improved, but I think, you know, it was one of the first watches from Pagani that I reviewed. It had the NH35 movement in there, and I think it blew a lot of people's minds. They sold them in thousands. So who am I to say it's bad? Let's put it in the good. Then we've got the Heimdallr SKX 007, again another smasher. This came out, everyone's calling it a Seiko killer, and I'll include all the variants as well, including the bronze variants. You know, they have done a lot of dial versions, the Marine Master style dial. They've done a couple of others. So cracking watch, especially the version 2, which was an improvement on the version 1. Plus they gave you full stainless steel bracelets with solid end links, Jubilee style bracelets, Oyster style bracelets. So they put a lot of thought into that watch. Further on down, we've got the Pagani Datejust Homage PD1645. I personally say this is by far probably one of the better Paganis. You know, the finishing was exceptional, the bracelet was really nice, and the fact that it didn't have a bezel, we know they can't get the bezels right, so fantastic watch, again amazing value for money. Next one on the list, Steeldive the SD1971, the Sumo Homage. Yes, definitely a good watch. I think this is probably one of the best, not their best of course. Steeldive do a good range of value for money, great build quality watches, but this probably is underrated. I don't think people rate it as much as they should, but then again, the Seiko Sumo sits in the same category. But the finishing on the case is flawless. I've bought a lot of them. It is one of my favorites. Only if they did a bracelet version, and that would really put it up a lot higher. Next up, we've got the Heimdallr Bronze tuner. Very good watch. I love the gilt dial. I love the way they've made it. the ceramic bezel insert, not the ceramic, sorry, the bronze bezel insert with the loomed version. Again, it's been there's a lot of thought gone into that watch. Next up, I reviewed after this was the Heimdallr Bronze 6309 Turtle. Fantastic watch. I currently own one. I love both variants with the black ceramic bezel insert and also the one with the bronze bezel insert. All the specs, NH35 movement, great color dials. You've got greens, blacks, blues. Very, very nice. Moving on down, we've got the Phylida from Steeldive SD1948. Very simple watch. It's kind of difficult to get that watch wrong. I've seen better, Phylida homages or Phylida style watches, pilot watches. I'll put into good because there wasn't much I could find wrong with it. It had a few issues on the dial in terms of the way the hands were and the coloration on the dial, but other than that, it's okay. Next Steeldive was the SD1979, the Squale homage. Very nice watch. It looked good on different straps. Nice small case. The bezel rotation wasn't the best, but I think overall I did really like that watch. Great domed crystal. They did upgrade that as well, which helped. The upgrade version was way better than the first one. Then we moved on to the SD1975 Tuna Can homage. Again from Steeldive, exceptional watch. This really is up there if you're looking for a tuna homage, even though I prefer like Proxima personally, but I'd say the tuna from the Steeldive is one of the best, if not the best, incorporating value for money into this tuna homages. Yeah, hands down. You can get them from AliExpress for about £99 now, so you can't complain. Next one, a bit more of a dress watch, the Cadisen C1032 Sapphire Crystal NH35. Again, a fantastic watch. Looks really nice, very classy. Ticks all the boxes for it being a dress watch. Then we've got the Retangula Redune 6105-8000 homage. For 2020, this is one of the nicer watches that came out as well. We've got the 6105 covered by Steeldive, and then this company comes out and smashes the 6105-8000 at the park. I love the gilt version. They've done one with the sandblasted and in black, but I really liked and was drawn more to the gilt version. Very nice bezel action. Next up, Sugess mechanical pilot chronograph with the ST1901, 38mm mechanical pilot watch with a chronograph, automatic. Fantastic watch. You get a very classy movement with that as well. The equivalent to a high street brand or a known brand, that watch will be, I'd say, around the £1,000 mark really. But fantastic watch, and it's one that I need to get back in, and I really do like that watch. Great size as well. Now a couple of St. Martins. So the St. Martin SN064, the Sinn homage. Very nice watch. PT5000 movement. This was my first exposure to the PT5000 movement, high beat movement from China. Very nice watch, very well done, and of course no one really touches Sinn in terms of homaging them. I think they do fantastic watches, and the fact that St. Martin put their interpretation out to us was a great move from them. It was kind of underrated, but I did notice, I'm not taking credit for it, but I kind of am, that after my review they started selling them a lot more, because to me this watch, I'd seen it a long time ago, and a lot of people did say in the comments that they've not seen this watch before, and there was no reviews of it as well, so I think that helped sell it. But why not? It was a fantastic watch. We moved on next to the St. Martin Submariner homage, the Water Ghost. Again, I think they've sold about 1,000 pieces. Very nice watch. In that Submariner homage category, there's just so many homages. Literally, I'd say in the hundreds, from various companies and brands. St. Martin tried, they've refined it. You get the full package, you get a very good bracelet, you get a very nice case. It looks slim, it definitely does look the part. I personally don't mind either logo. Next, we've got the St. Martin Black Ninja, which is a 6105-8000 with the different color loom. You know what? It's a good watch. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Next one was Phorcydes PH1. So a new kind of brand from China that came out towards, I think, the mid part of 2020. I was very impressed by it. It was quite big. But then again, it's got 500 meters of water resistance, NH35 movement. I love the dial and the hands combo. So it was overall a very good watch. The bezel action was okay, could be improved. But that's the only watch from Phorcydes that I've actually liked. So next up, you got the San Martin SN057, the Turtle 6309 or SRP 777 homage. Gorgeous looking watch, slightly overpriced, but gorgeous looking watch. Then we've got the Cronos LM6002, which was a homage to that. Seiko made a kind of a reissue to the 62 mass, where it just looked like an updated version, but then they done another reissue which was more like the original. But yeah, amazing loom. Yeah. And moving on down, we've got after that the Reef Tiger, the Presage homage. The name model number is too long, so I'm not going to read it. I had the blue dial version. You know what, if I treat that watch as an individual watch and not that it was trying to homage the Seiko Presage cocktail time, I'd say very good watch. NH36, sapphire, crystal, stainless steel. It gave us all the specs. Good box as well that it came in. Then further on down, we've got the San Martin SN007 62 mass homage. In particular, the version 1 and version 2. Great watches. Good interpretation of the 62 mass by San Martin. Of course, premium materials in use there as well. Then we've got the Proxima Tuna homage. Yes, loved it. Very good finishing on it. But I still stand by the fact that the Steeldive SD1975 is the better watch due to value for money. But my personal preference is the Proxima Tuna. Then after that, we did the Bronze Samurai with that red and black Coca-Cola style sapphire bezel insert. Very good watch for a couple of reasons. Number one, they had the NH36 dial on there with that, you know, slight modification to the movement and the dial. I love the red they went for, and of course I love the samurai case, so I liked it that they went for that as well. So that is definitely in the good. Then we've got the Heimdallr Monster. You know, we don't need to say anything else about that. Definitely in the good. Then we had the 54. So recently 54 watch, the 62 mass homage from them. Yeah, hit the nail on the head with this one. You know, the version 2, very nice watch. Very I'd say, you know, it paid a very good homage to the original, if not, well, it was a 1-1 copy by the case. So, you know, very nice watch. And then we got the last one I reviewed, I think the Proxima, the red dial tuner homage with the NH36, the same dial modification that we saw on the Proxima tuner, on the Proxima Bronze Samurai homage. I love the dial on it, even though the date functionality isn't, you know, isn't there, is not practical enough. However, I like what they did, and I love that red dial. So that's for the good. Now let's look at the bad. The first one on there. Now, if you go back, I did this, I think, in my first few months. It was a Pagani Tag Otavia Otavia homage, PD1645. Now I did a bit of a schoolboy error on this. The seller told me it was sapphire, and then it actually turned out to be mineral. So I made about 12 videos trying to justify myself and get some retribution. I even had the seller provide discounts, and compensation to people that bought it. But yeah, schoolboy error, you know, it was new days for me. But yeah, that watch I'd put in the bad, because even though visually it looked nice, I think the bezel was just too bad. Now for me, if a watch has got a bezel, it needs to be good. I think that is a critical failure for me. So if the bezel's that bad, I just won't like the watch. Next one down, we've got the SD1963 by Steeldive, the Pan Radio Mia homage, I believe. There was nothing special about it for me. I think the crown was a bit cheap, feeling a bit weak. It just didn't feel right. It had that California dial, sandwich dial as well. I just didn't like it. You know, now thinking about it, it wasn't a nice watch for me. Then we've got the Steeldive SD1952, the 55 fathom, you know, the 50 fathom homage. You know what, it looked nice. The watch did look really nice. It was well finished. But the thing that's just stuck out for me was that bezel rotation was absolutely awful. It was like a pepper grinder. And I went back to Steeldive. I said, "Are you looking to improve this?" No, we're not. Well, I think the attitude stinks. To be honest, they should definitely improve it if like 9 out of 10 watches have that issue. So further on, the SD1968, which is a Marine Master 300 homage by Steeldive. poor watch in my opinion. It was a bad watch because the bezel action was again awful on it. A lot of play. It didn't sound nice. I think there was a bit of a bounce in the bezel as well, and also because I had taken it apart, the mechanism used wasn't that good. Plus I had bags of QC issues with them. You know, a dial misalignment at one point was common, so they were sending them out with misaligned dials, and like everybody looking at it was thinking, yeah, that's okay. So that's definitely in the bad. And then we've got the Phylida GMT. Now I've done the giveaway on this recently. Now for this, the only reason I put it in the bad category, the actual case and the bracelet is fantastic. The movements, the Chinese DG whatever GMT movement, I think this was the most unanimously agreed upon name, that it was just bad. And for that, you know, they should have made a better name. It is going to be in the bad category. Then we've got the San Martin. Now this might be slightly controversial, but again, this is my opinion. So the San Martin SN007, so the 6.2 mass homage, but the version 3. For me, the watch is about £180, so it does want a decent amount of money spending on it. So let's disregard the bracelet and the case for a second. I think they did too much with this. What I didn't like was the bezel. The bezel was too thin, very poor bezel rotation compared to what San Martin I've got us accustomed to. Then the second thing for me, which I didn't like, was they tried to put too much into the watch. So, you know, you can either, sometimes less is more. So they put a chapter ring with that box bubble style sapphire crystal. Now that caused too much distortion and it didn't look right to me. They just stuck with the, you know, the minute track around the dial, for example. For me, I think that was too far away. Personally, version 1 and 2, that's what they sit in the good category. Then we've got the SD1975 XP, so the PVD version of the Tuna with that red loom. The only reason I've got it in the bad, that loom was totally ineffective, just purely for aesthetics. Very poor loom, so that's what I've put in the bad. And then going on down, we've got the Heimdallr Turtle, the stainless steel version, the 6309 or SRP, whatever. You know what, if you go back and look at the good watches and where Heimdallr were releasing this SKX 007s and the tuners and the 6.2 mass, they really paid attention to each and every watch. They put a lot of thought in it. With this Turtle, they just kind of threw it at us. So they gave us the older 6105 style dial, which, you know what, they should have used a different dial for that. The case, particularly around the crown, it wasn't, you know, the feature that was needed there, it wasn't present. And yeah, I think you totally felt a lack of enthusiasm from Heimdallr on that one. So yeah, I'll put it in the bad side. So that's it for my list of the bad. Now let's go on to the ugly. Now I've only got 2 watches in this category. The first one being the SD1970, yes, the 6105 homage, but just 2 particular color options, the green and the blue. I think the green and the blue made it look tacky. That's a watch where, okay, change the dial color, but you know, with the bezel and everything, and they pulled out those god-awful silicone straps which they put on every watch, thinking it's a waffle strap or something. It isn't. Yeah, totally was a put off. I did review it, no doubt. And like I said, initial thoughts, you know, it may have been good, but when you look at it afterwards and you've got 50 watches to compare it to and put them in categories, things start making a bit more sense. So I think the green and the blue for me were a bit ugly when I compare it to the original black one. The last one, this one was, well, it wasn't controversial for me. I still stand by what I say. But it was that Chronos video that I did. So it was the Chronos Railmaster homage. Yes, the logo was utter rubbish, utter nonsense. And despite the backlash I got from the fanboys, you know, I was unfazed because the logo has changed. So, you know, who's right and who's wrong there. But, you know, that for me, I think just looking at the watch, logo aside, the design was just awful. Even though they made an improvement, still it didn't make sense. So even to the Omega enthusiasts out there, the watch wasn't right because it had a mix of 2 different eras, 2 different watches. And I'd say, you know, things like Corgeut, Bliga, Parnis, they've done a much better job at homaging the Omega Railmaster. It's a very easy watch to homage, right? And plus they do have a really nice dial. That's something Chronos didn't really do. The hour markers were off, the dial was off. You know, the only good thing they did was that they used a PT 5000 movement. But I think the worst thing they could have done is, with such a niche watch, they put it in the bronze, which is also another niche material. Stainless steel watches outsell bronze watches. So for me, that definitely has to be in the ugly category. And that's the only two. So that is my total comprehensive list. I've reviewed or categorized all the watches that I've reviewed, and in what, under 30 minutes, under 25 minutes. So that's pretty good for me, considering a review from me is normally this long. So that's it. I'll end the video there. So thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you definitely after the New Year's on the next video.